Hey, what's up, y'all? Is this the first one for this year? Have we done one this year? We've already done one?
I'm sure we have.
All right.
But anyways, yes, it is. Do what you're gonna do.
All
What
right.
are you gonna say?
I don't know what I was going to say. I was going to first ask you, was this the first one?
Okay, this is the first one.
This the first one? It might not be. I don't know. So,
Happy New Year.
sucked.
Bowie, stop.
Pens. The color of pens. So, I saw a little post in a group I'm in about a guy who's a chiropractor, and he does a lot of the work in his office, like administratively,
stop.
with pens.
Bowie, no.
And
We don't
sometimes
eat
don't eat
sheets.
pens.
You don't eat sheets for beds.
Don't eat sheets. No. But
Eating the cat.
so anyways, his question was, and it actually turned into an interesting discussion. So I want to ask you about what you think
About pens.
about pens. About somebody on a staff changed the color of pen that they were using. What do you think about that?
What do you mean?
Look at the camera.
They're just like, okay, what do you mean they changed the color of the pen?
They changed the color of the pen.
What does that mean?
Instead of using a blue pen, they used a black pen. Or instead of using a black pen, they used a red pen.
Doing what?
Administrative stuff.
Okay.
Like charts.
1 second. Bowie, stop.
Pause.
Don't, just continue, because then you have to edit it.
I don't want to edit it.
Exactly, so don't. So we're gonna leave it like this. Bowie, stop.
Can't you just pause it?
No.
Not stop. Just
Then you
pause.
have to edit it then. Okay.
I'm learning technology. Okay, so here's the thing. Let's say you've got a chart on a patient, and in there you've got like maybe there's some doctor notes, right? And so maybe the doctor always wants to do everything in red, and then the assistant, the CA secretary, always does everything that's related to one topic in blue, and then everything related to billing is in black, right? And so you've got a system of everything's done this way.
Yeah.
Now somebody comes along and changes it and uses a different color.
For any reason? Laziness?
I don't know. So I'm thinking more in terms of, say, leadership. If you're the doctor of your office, you're the captain of your ship, then you could look at this a couple of different ways. You could say, you know what, actually, I don't care about the color of the pen. I don't care if she used a different color pen. I do care that she did it without running it by me first. Right? Because you want to make the decisions and be the leader and say, okay, well, it's okay if you want to use a different color, but it's got to get run by me first, right? You don't want to have any changes go on in the office without you knowing about it and you okaying it first. That's one way of looking at it. Somebody else might say, well, you know what? Come on, get over it. Stop worrying about that. Take your energy out of that and put your energy into something that actually is more important. And so it sort of
No, I disagree.
brings that discussion of, so what amount, and then somebody else could say, okay, well, you can allow other people to make decisions within this realm, but anything outside of that realm has to get run through you. So there's varying ideas here on the amount of control. Now this, I don't really care about the pen, and I don't really care about the chiropractic office, right? It could be the same thing with a band. You know, one person is the leader of the band, or it could be a company or a team of any sort.
Yeah, so basically if you have a business like this, and you have a certain way of doing things, and somebody just comes in and starts messing it up, first of all, that shows kind of lack of respect, because in going into somebody else's business, you being an assistant, you kind of want to tread lightly in a certain way, because you don't want to disrupt anything. You kind of want to, prove yourself instead of, changing something up. If you don't know about the system, then sure, that's understandable. But if you do know about the system and you deliberately do that, it's just disrespectful. It's like, and even if it's not this massissive thing, it's still,
and even if it's
still a
or not.
trait of certain characteristics of that person in terms of defiance and
well, they may not necessarily even actually be defiant. Maybe they just didn't have that color available. They needed to make it a quick surgery, right?
Then I think that's fine. If you're deliberately doing that because you're like, oh, it doesn't matter, or you're just trying to rile somebody up, well, yeah, that's not really somebody you really want to have on your team. And that's not to say you should fire somebody over that, but
she didn't get fired. But and then.
But yeah, like if you start to push boundaries like that, I mean, if you have a system in place, you build this business, you have a system in place, and it works, and yeah, I mean, you've built it yourself. You're not gonna have somebody come in and change it, and it's like you start to do these little things like that, and then what else are you gonna do next?
See, at
like
first, my first initial reaction was, she used a different color pen. I mean, come on, get over it. It's just not a big deal. But the more I thought about it, the more I was kind of thinking, you know what? I think that pen is pretty darn important, because if I've got my system of I do everything in black, somebody else does everything in blue, then that helps. It helps keep everything completely organized and transparent, and it helps the flow of everything, where you can look back at the history in this file and say, okay, I did this person did that, etc., and it really makes good sense. And then another person wrote in this thread that actually they say that nobody in their office can use any pen other than the pens provided by the office, right? Example was this. One time, a girl brought in her own pen. She had her own pen. I don't know if she liked it or what the reason was. I don't know why it happened. It could have just been that she happened to have it in her coat pocket and she was looking for a pen and she needed one and she couldn't find one, and so she took the one out of the pocket. I have no idea. But she used it, and she also asked the patient to sign a form, a consent form or something, with her own pen. The problem was that the doctor saw it at the end, as they got sort of to the end of it, was that it said "FU" on the side of the pen. Right? So now that would look unprofessional if you're the patient and now you're signing a document with a pen given to you by a staff member that says "FU" on it. It's like, whoa. And so now I'm thinking, yeah, you're darn right. I'm going to have a policy now that nobody can use any pen other than the pens that I bring in for them, to simply try to prevent a situation like that. Now that's like 1 in a 500 million scenario.
That's exactly.
Yeah, no, that's messed up. But still, it sort of still gets me thinking on that line from a leadership perspective of, I don't want to say like a leader like being controlling. I don't mean it like that.
A leader.
But because
a
leader
isn't somebody who's necessarily controlling.
If I'm a true leader, I want you to grow. I want you to learn. I want you to take responsibility, etc., etc. So it's like, do you have these certain rules that these must be abided by? And it's not to say that they can't change. It's just more, before you do anything different outside of the rules, let's talk about it first, and we can find out, well, maybe this is a good idea if we make some changes, because you want to progress, you want the business to progress, you want each person to progress as people, as whatever their role is within the company or within the group.
But it's still just respect, right? Like you still have respect for this company that somebody's built, something that somebody runs, and something that if something happens, like shit goes down, they're going to be the ones.
Yeah, and it's also, sometimes I look at a business as an entity, right? If I build a business and you are an employee of my business, it's not just, you should not just respect the rules that I've made because I built the business, because it's not just for me. It's not just my business. It's actually an entity that has been built, and you should want to put good effort into it, because if the business goes downhill, you could be out of a job. Not because I fired you, but because the business has to go bankrupt, right?
Okay. But realistically, a business isn't going to go bankrupt over a pen that says "FU."
No, that's true. That's true. No, I'm talking about the concept of the decisions and leadership and things like that.
But usually in those situations, you're not really going to. If you're not going to hire an asshole, right? But if somebody turns out to just keep pushing boundaries and keep, being a nuisance and kind of doing things, you just fire them,
Yeah.
Of course, over like repeated things, not over just straight away. But.
Yeah, and I've run into a few situations in the past with people who did not work out. They did just personalities, respect was not there, and
there's certain people
they had to leave. And
Would you like to go into any detail?
No, we're gonna do it. No, but yeah. But at the same time too, I do think that as a group, trying to make continual changes to progress individually and as a group can be really neat. Like when I was working at the Calgary Center for Health, we had a team meeting, like a whole staff meeting, once a week, and it was always split into two parts. One part was administrative things, and that's where they would go over administrative things like flow, how processes, things like this, so that the business ran smoothly. And there, people could also make ideas. Like if there was a task that you had to do, and maybe that task could go so much easier and would be better done in a different way, then you could bring up that idea at the meeting, and then we could say, okay, that's a really good idea. Let's try to implement that. So now starting forward, we're going to implement it this way. And then the other half of the meeting would be more actually philosophical. It would be more like team building. It would be more learning and things like that. And we'd go over different concepts and talk about them, different books and talk about them, and how can we apply these teachings to ourselves and as a group, as a company.
Really
that was really, really neat.
That's actually really nice.
I used to do that with my clinic here for a while, until there was one guy who no longer works at the office.
Why?
Why doesn't he no longer?
No, why did you stop?
Why I stopped? Because of him. I stopped because of him, because he was horrible. He was just horrible, and I think I just got so upset with the whole thing. I was just like, forget it. And nobody liked the guy, but so we got to get rid of him. But anyways, I think that's something that I probably should start again.
Yeah, I mean, because you rent out rooms, right, in your office, so it's not really like they're working towards this one income. They're working for their own income, right? So it's not
yes, exactly.
So it's not really.
No, but we do functionally work together. But,
yeah, definitely.
But technically, from a tax perspective, we're all independent.
Your work is all completely independent.
Yeah,
like, it's not.
Yeah, but still, it might be good. Maybe I'll run it by him and ask him if anybody'd be interested in doing that. I think I am, because it's kind of. I enjoyed that.
If I was working somewhere, that'd be really cool to have like meetings and to kind of discuss what you can do better, and also philosophical.
Yeah,
it's really cool. And kind of
it was neat. Yeah, we went over all kinds of different books, like The 7 Habits of Highly Effective Families. There's one, the monk who sold his Ferrari. There's another book. I can't remember all the books that we went through, but we would do that. It was really kind of neat. I may think of something else, but I don't remember what it was now. I lost it. But that's okay. That's okay, because we're going to try and keep this one short.
I'll switch up the subject.
Yeah. Switch it up.
Today, I was writing a song. It's Spanish. Yeah.
Spanish has been over.
Spanish.
Unos, dos, tres, cuatro.
I only wrote the chorus. It took me about an hour and a half.
That's awesome.
But I wrote the chorus in Spanish.
That's freaking awesome.
I did use Google Translate.
Use DeepL. It's better.
I see. Everybody's told me this.
Yeah, it works.
I never knew what that was.
It makes it's better for the grammatical changes. You don't have to make as like Google Translate isn't as good with grammar and things like that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But so a lot of the words in it, like I didn't know before, but I'm learning.
I can't wait to hear it. Yeah. That's so cool.
It's just a course, and I wanted.
You heard it here first.
And I wanted.
Coby Dallin.
And I wanted to finish it tonight. That's why I wanted to keep this one short.
Okay.
But yeah.
All right. So we'll keep this one short, guys. So we'll leave it like that. Make your comments on pens. What do you think about pens? All right. Ciao. See you later.
Do I have to press?